Good morning and happy Sabbath. 各位弟兄姐妹们，早安，安息天快乐。I want to welcome all brothers and sisters, including brothers and sisters from Loma Linda, California, and all over the U.S. and overseas to watch our live stream. 非常的欢迎不单单是在罗马琳达华人教会在这个加州，还有就是在任何其他的这个外州和美国以外的弟兄姐妹们来收看我们的现场直播。There's a good announcement, and that is 3 Sabbaths from today, September the 12th. Our church is trying to have this the outdoor worship. So I want to have brothers and sisters to be ready. I wish you can come to join us for the outdoor worship on September the 12th. 那么呢，在这个3个安息天之后，从今天这个安息天开始算今天是8月的最后一个安息天，再到第3个安息天，也就是9月的12号那一天呢，我们会有这个户外的这个敬拜的活动，所以希望弟兄姐妹们能够准时的来参加The first part of our program will be a special music by Sister Haley Yo. 那么在我们的这个节目一开始呢，有这个 Haley 姐妹为我们带来这个特别的音乐，谢谢。We want to thank Sister Haley for the special music for us. 非常感谢 Haley 姐妹所为我们带来的这个特别音乐。My sermon today is titled Moses Series Number 21, Negative and Positive Desires. 那么今天我要跟各位讲的呢是摩西系列的第21讲，负面的和正面的这个欲望In these past weeks, we are going through these 10 commandments.那么在这个过去的几个星期当中呢，我们学习的是这个10条诫命The first 4 parts of the 4 commandments are Jesus is teaching us how we can love God even more. 那么前面的4条诫命呢，是说上帝教导我们，我们可以更加的爱上帝And the later part of the 6 commandments are the one that Jesus is teaching us how we should love each other even more.那么后面的6条诫命呢，是耶稣在教我们，我们人类应该要如何的更加的彼此的相爱So today we are going to talk about this the number 10th commandment 今天我们要讲到这个第10条诫命The Bible says, "You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor." 那么这个第10条诫命呢？圣经说不可贪恋 人的房屋，也不可贪恋人的妻子、仆卑、牛乳，并一切其他的所有的哈。It's just like this past Sunday on August 23, a 29-year-old African-American young man, Jacob Blake, he was about to be arrested by police because of the domestic abuse and sexual assault. 那么在这个上个星期天，也就是8月23号呢，一名29岁的这个非洲裔的这个年轻人哈，他本来要被这个警方逮捕哈，因为他有这个犯了家庭虐待，还有这个性侵略哈。But then during this encounter, Blake was shot for 7 times of his back by the police officer 哈。那么在这个跟警察发生冲突当中呢，这个布雷克的背部呢，警察就朝他的背部呢就开枪打了7次哈。And then after that incident happened, hundreds of protesters gathered in downtown Kenosha and rioting and looting for several days. 那么在这个事情发生之后呢，在这个威斯康辛州的这个Kenosha 这个城市那边呢，就许多的人成千上万的人来这边呢，就是开始进行这个骚乱，还有这个抢劫暴动哈。Ever since this like George Floyd things and this the Jacob Blake things, all this recent looting, the damage has added up to more than 400 million in the 20 largest metropolitan areas. 然后呢，在这个最近的这个美国的这些暴动呢，所产生的这种掠夺跟抢劫所造成的损失呢，在这个美国的20个大城市，差不多是估计是超过4亿美元哈。And countless covetous people, they made use of this opportunity to steal. 那么无数贪图的人呢，他们就用这样的一个机会呢，正好借这个机会来抢夺哈。What does covet really mean 啊？什么叫做贪恋呢？ This is the definition from the English, the Webster's Dictionary. 那么在英文的这个韦伯斯的字典里面就这样子讲哈。Number one is to wish to gain something earnestly 哈。首先呢，第一个就是热切的要盼望，希望能够得到某一个事物哈。Second meaning is that to desire what belongs to another inordinately or wrongly 哈。那么第二个意义呢，就是说是过分的渴望，是要得到已经是属于别人的东西，甚至用不正当的手段来得到哈。So this is the meaning from the English dictionary 哈。Let's look at this from Chinese word, Chinese character. This is very interesting. 让我们来看一看这个中文的字幕里头来看哈。In Chinese words, this greedy or covet, 贪贪心、贪婪 ，this 贪this is divided actually by 2 parts 那中文的这个贪这个字呢，其实是由2个部分来构成哈。So the top part and then the beneath part, okay? The top part is this 金 meaning today, and then the lower one 贝 meaning the shell, okay? 所以这个中文的这2个部分，这个贪呢，上面是今天的金，下面是贝壳的贝哈。The shell actually it means money because in the ancient China, shell was the currency back then 哈。所以那个在古时候的中国呢，这个贝壳就是当作是个铜币来做这个金钱的交易So what does that really mean by 贪所以这个贪这个字的到底意思是什么呢？ It means that I'm only thinking about the money I can get today and therefore I don't plan for anything for my future. I'm only thinking about my money for today 所以这个贪这个字呢，是说我今天只考虑到我今天要赚的钱，然后呢，我就没有为自己的未来做任何一个计划So I only think about my immediate gain 就是我现在只考虑到我眼前想要得到的And so the other meaning is that every single day I'm thinking about to get money. The only thing I'm thinking every day is money and money and money 所以呢，就是说每天我只在想到的呢，就是只想要怎么能够得到钱这个就是叫做贪So this meaning is actually a very similar concept, like what Bible has described. 这个跟这个圣经里面的观念呢是非常的像的But in fact, you know, the Bible did not say anything wrong about having money 其实圣经里面呢没有讲说这个有钱是错的The Bible, in fact, says that work hard and save money can also be blessed by God 实际上圣经里面讲说，我们努力工作存钱呢，还是能够得到这个上帝的祝福，这个是没有错的 The Bible says in Proverbs 6 verse 6, Go to the end, you sluggard, consider his ways and be wise. 圣经里面箴言6章6节讲说，懒惰的人你去查看蚂蚁的动作就可以得到智慧。Also Proverbs 24 verse 6, Bible says, Humility is the fear of the Lord. Its wages are riches and honor and life. 圣经里面箴言22章第4节讲说，敬畏耶和华，心存谦卑，就得富有尊荣，生命为赏赐。So it's nothing wrong to have money. However, the wrong thing is that when we are greedy for the money, then we are committing sin against God. 那么有钱这个本身不是一个错误，但是呢，如果说我们把这个钱呢过分的追求，变得是贪婪贪财的话呢，我们就是犯了这个罪了Because the Bible says in 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 10, For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. 那么呢这个圣经里面提摩太前书第6章讲到说，贪财呢是万恶之根Some people eager for money have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. 那么呢，就是有人贪恋钱财呢，就被引诱离开了真道，用许多的愁苦呢，就把自己给刺透了So, in fact, the Bible describes the greedy person is idolater. 事实上，这个圣经讲述这个贪婪的人呢，就是一个像在拜偶像、崇拜偶像的人一样The Bible says in Ephesians chapter 5, For of this you can be sure, no immoral, impure, or greedy person, such a person is an idolater, has any inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and God. 那么圣经里面以弗所书5章讲说你们确实的知道，无论是淫乱的、污秽的、贪心的，在基督和神的国度里面呢是没有份的贪心的就与拜偶像的是一样的So the number 10th commandment is actually bringing the same thing like the first commandment. So the first and the 10th commandment, they are just like bringing back for a cycle. Because the first commandment says there is no other gods. And then the number 10th commandment says, do not covet something so that you won't be able to love God. So this is like bringing back a circle. 那么因为第一条诫命讲说是不能够有任何其他的神那么第10条诫命呢，就说是不要贪婪那么呢，我们因为贪图一些事物呢，就变成是我们爱那些事物超过上帝，我们就变得不爱上帝了。所以第1条跟第10条诫命其实是回复呢，重回好像就是变成是一个循环一样的So in fact, there are both the negative and the positive desires related with this concept of greedy 实际上这个贪婪的这个概念呢，跟这个有相关的呢，是有正面的，还有这个负面的这个欲望Some desires are destructive, and the Bible usually calls these destructive desires lust. And these desires are often show the craving of the satisfaction of the physical appetites, for example, food, alcohol, sex, money, pleasure, etc. 那么圣经里面有讲到所谓的这些那种欲望呢，负面的欲望是有破坏性的圣经就把这个称作是私欲通常是表现在这个是肉体的一种满足，比方说是食物啦、酒精啦、性爱啦、金钱娱乐等等Even Paul tells young Timothy in 2 Timothy chapter 2, flee also used for lust 那么圣经在这个提摩太后书保罗甚至告诉提摩太说，你要逃避少年的这个私欲So the Bible instead actually encourage us to desire the good character, which means God is wishing us to pursue those like a good character 那么圣经里面其实是鼓励我们要去追求这个美好的品格，就说是跟这个贪婪是相反的，圣经要我们去追求的So this is the character that God wish us to pursue instead of going the greedy way The Bible says in 1 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 31, Now eagerly desire the greater gift 那么呢，圣经在哥林多前书12章讲到说，你们要切切的求那更大的恩赐God also told Psalmist David in Psalm 51 that look, you desire integrity in the inner man 上帝也在这个诗篇51篇里面呢，跟大卫讲说上帝所喜爱的是内里诚实So God is actually wishing us to pursue the great inner character in us 上帝其实希望我们能够追求更美好的这个品格哈。So how did this negative desire, the covetousness, started in the Bible? 那么这个负面的欲望呢，这个贪婪呢，到底在圣经里面是如何的这样的这个开始的呢？ It actually started in Genesis chapter 3 when Eve was by herself alone when the snake come to tempt Eve and to tell her, did God really say that you shall not eat all these fruits? But Satan is fooling Eve to make Eve see the fruits is pleasing to her eye. So then she took it and she ate, and then she gave her husband. They both ate. 那么圣经这个里面的这个故事呢，其实是从这个创世纪第3章里面开始哈。因为这个圣经里面在讲说，这个当这个夏娃一个人独处的时候呢，蛇就来诱惑夏娃，那么就告诉他说呢，这个他们吃了之后呢，眼睛就明亮，能够知道，能够辨别善恶。那么这个夏娃就看见那果子的数量，这个树呢，这个果子呢好做食物，悦人眼目呢，就吃了哈，然后就摘下来吃，也给他自己的这个先生吃哈。But as a matter of fact, before Eve ate,God has actually given both Adam and Eve abundant food already 事实上就是在这个创世纪3章之前呢，上帝其实已经把许多的这个美好的这个食物早就已经给这个亚当夏娃了哈。Because in Genesis chapter 1 verse 29, God said, I give you every seed bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruits with seed in it, and they will be yours for food.上帝其实跟这个亚当夏娃在创世纪第1章就告诉他们说，看我将遍地上一切结种子的菜蔬和一切树上所有有结合的果子全赐给你们做食物哈。I don't know how many fruits can you eat. 我不晓得你可以吃桌上的都有多少食物哈。Let's say if I put like 99 kinds of the different kind of fruits on top of the table for you.I think before you finish eating not even 1/5 of them, you probably feel like your stomach is full already 如果我在桌子上摆这个99种不同种的水果在桌子上给您吃我看您恐怕吃不到1/5的水果呢，你就已经太饱了You don't need the 100 kind of the fruits, okay? Even 99 is more than too much. 那么呢，你不需要拿到这第100种的水果。99种呢都已经够了哈。Have you ever eaten in any buffet restaurant before the lockdown? 请问您有没有在这个吃到饱的餐厅就是吃过饭，就是在这个我们这个疫情还没有就是这个严重还没有关闭餐厅之前哈。Lots of us when we have our second or third plate when we eat in a buffet restaurant, it's good enough already 当我们就是去这个吃到饱的餐厅吃饭的时候呢，如果说您吃了这个2盘3盘的，大概都已经够了我很少有看到说有人吃5盘6盘以上的Seldom do I see people eat more than 5 or the 6 like a plate. Okay, I remember when I was young, the first time I attend someone's wedding banquet. Because we were young, we were kids, we did not know. So just when the first 1 or 2dishes came, then we wanted to eat rice because every single meal we want to eat rice. So when we eat rice with all the first and second dishes, we feel like a fool, and all the rest of these, like the many other dishes came, we can't eat anymore. 那么我们记得就参加这个婚礼的时候呢，因为我们当时是孩童的时候呢，年纪还很小，想吃饭就叫饭，结果呢就是第1道第2道菜呢，我们孩子们就已经吃饱了没想到后面还来了这么多道菜But then the more food came, the more we try to eat, the more we got stomach ache 那么呢，我们就是有更多的食物呢，我们当时我们孩童的时候呢，孩子的时候我们吃的更多的时候呢，我们的肚子就胃肠呢就越来越痛So we can't eat too much. We have this limit. 我们没有办法能够吃很多，我们都有这个限制的And Satan has used our negative desire, the covetousness, to destroy us. 撒旦呢，也就是利用我们的这个负面的欲望，这个贪婪来摧毁我们When Abraham and Lot came back from Egypt, they have lots of the possessions. 当这个亚伯兰跟这个罗德他的侄子两个人从这个埃及回来之后呢，他们两个人的财产都很多And so they have lots of the sheep. 然后他们两个都有很多的这个羊群So then one day the shepherds of Abraham and the shepherd of Lot, they begin to have this quarrel because some of those like the sheep, they cross the boundary 那么有一天，这个亚伯兰的这个牧人跟罗德的牧人就开始相争，因为呢，他们两个人的这个牧人呢，在这个草地上呢，这个羊群就开始就是跨越界限来吃草So they all start to have this quarrel， 然后这个亚伯兰跟罗德的牧人之间就开始有了这个争吵So then Abraham, being uncle, he's senior, but he yielded to Lot. He says, look, we are close relative. You and I shall not have quarrel. So why don't you choose? You choose the right side, I choose, the left-hand side. If you choose the left-hand side, I choose the right side. 所以这个亚伯兰他虽然他是叔叔，他是长辈，但是他跟这个侄子就说你我呢不可以相争，因为我们是骨肉我们来挑选吧，你来挑。如果你选择右边，我就到左边；你如果选择左边，我就到右边So when Lot look, he see that all these like the plain field, green grass are beautiful. So he choose the plain field. 那么这个罗德呢，因为他比较贪心他看到这个平地的这个草呢比较绿呢，他就选择这个平地的草So then Abraham he just get the rest of the like a hilly side 那亚伯兰就得到就是后面的这些比较高山的一些部分But then what Lot has done is that he pitched his tent toward the Sodom 但是这个罗德所做的事情就是他呢在这个平地的草坪上呢，他把这个帐篷呢这个扎的像是这个朝往这个是索多玛的方向，然后呢渐渐的迁移But that was the mistake that Lot has done because the Bible says the people of Sodom were wicked and were sinning greatly against the Lord. 但这个罗德呢所做的这个错误就在这里因为当时呢这个圣经里面讲说索多玛的人呢在耶和华的面前呢罪大恶极And today nowadays is the same way. God said He's going to destroy this world just like the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. 上帝说他要摧毁要毁灭今天我们这个世界，就像是当时上帝这个毁灭了索多玛跟俄摩拉的这个日子一样So you see, in the beginning, Lot was pitching the tent just near Sodom 那么一开始的时候呢，罗德本来只是住在这个平原这边，但是他是渐渐的把这个帐篷呢移往这个索多玛In the beginning, Lot he only see the beautiful things on the surface 因为一开始的时候，这个罗德他只有看见这个表面上这个美丽的这个事物When he see the beautiful things and he see that like all this luxurious lifestyle of Sodom, then he too want to live in such a luxurious lifestyle. 那么当这个罗德呢，他看见这些美丽的这个城市的时候呢，他开始呢也想要进去住在这种奢华的这个城市。Just look at this picture, Sodom and Gomorrah, it's just like the city of Las Vegas today 那么当时的这个索多玛跟俄摩拉呢，就好像是今天的我们的这个拉斯维加斯一样A beautiful city from outside might look attractive, however, it might have lots of the hidden things in it. 一个看来外表美丽的这个城市呢，也许是很吸引人，但是它的背后呢，却有隐藏着许多的这个罪恶In fact,when you go to Las Vegas, you can buy this souvenir. This souvenir is called that Las Vegas is the sin city 那么事实上，你到这个拉斯维加斯的时候呢，你可以买这个纪念品这个纪念品呢，这个上面就写说这个拉斯维加斯是一个罪恶城市。Why? Because this is a city of gambling and sexual immorality 因为这是一个就是充满了这个赌博还有这个淫乱这样一个这个城市So then eventually, Lot moved right there into the city of Sodom, because he was coveting for all this luxurious life. 那么最后呢，这个罗德呢，他就搬进去住在这个索多玛里面。为什么呢？因为他贪得要住这个奢侈的这种生活And when Lot was one day sitting in the gate of Sodom, here came the two angels.And in the gateway. And when Lot saw these two angels, he got up to meet with them and he bowed down his face to the ground 当这个那一天罗德呢就坐在这个城门口的时候呢，看见2个天使过来，罗德就起来迎接他们，然后就是来拜他们because Lot was sure that these 2 angels they must be sent by God 那么那个时候这个罗德呢，他意识到说这2个人呢一定是这个上帝所派来的天使And so then Lot, he begged them to stay in Lot's home. And finally, these 2 angels agreed. 那么这2个这个天使呢，罗德就向他们苦苦的哀求说，请他们来住在罗德的家里。这2个天使呢就答应了Because Lot, he knew that this is such a dangerous city, and if they stay outside on that evening, the dangerous things will happen. 因为罗德知道说，这个是非常危险的一个城市他们如果说是睡在外面的话呢，他们会遇到一个很大的一个危险And on that night, the group of people, the mob, they came and they bang, 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 bang. They banged the door of Lot, and they wanted to rape the 2 guests in Lot's house. 那么呢，那一天晚上，这个罗德的家里呢，这些暴民就来到这个罗德的家里，就很激烈的敲门呢，就叫这个罗德把这2个天使给交出来，因为这个暴民呢，他们这些男的要来强暴这2个这个天使And they keep shouting bring them out. 他们不断的在那边喊叫说，把这2个人给交出来And suddenly this is what Lot says. 那么当他们把这个门敲得很激烈的时候，突然间这个罗德就这样子回答了He says, you know what? If you guys want, I'll let you have my 2 daughters because they are virgins. 罗德就突然间讲说，如果说你们2个你们一定你们这一群人，你们一定要来强暴的话呢，我就把我的2个女儿给你们吧，因为他们2个人呢是处女。In other words, Lot is saying, if you guys want to rape my 2 daughters, it's okay. 罗德讲的话呢，意思就是说是你们要强暴的话呢，你们就强暴我的2个女儿好了，因为他们2个呢是处女，他们2个没有关系Can you believe what Lot has said? 你们可以相信从罗德口中所说的话吗？ From the words of Lot, we can see that he was not really trusting and depending on God anymore. 从罗德的口中的话语呢，我们就可以知道说，罗德他已经不再是一个信靠上帝的人了。Lot has completely been changed because of this covetousness. 罗德呢完全变了，因为这个贪婪的这个罪恶And then eventually, Lot has been completely been changed. He has no longer, he doesn't have a good influence on his family too. 那么罗德呢，他对他的家人不再有任何一个好的影响And all his family become disbelief. 所有他的家人呢也变得是不信And when they were escaping from Sodom and Gomorrah, his wife, Lot's wife, when she turned back, she became the pillar of the salt. 那么当他们这个逃离这个索多玛和蛾摩拉的时候呢，当这个罗德的妻子呢往回头一看的时候呢，他就变成是这个岩柱了Because Lot's wife, she has too much things. She was so attached to this earth, and she was so greedy, and she was coveting so many luxurious things on this earth. 因为对于这个罗德的太太来说呢，她有太多的地上的事情呢迷恋着她，她太过于贪图享受这个奢华这个地上的一些事物，所以她没有办法能够舍得离开，她必须要往后回头看And even when Lot has told his daughters and his son-in-law that we have to run away from this Gomorrah real quick, none of them, they didn't really believe him in the beginning, and so they have to pull the hand. Lord has to pull their hand to run together 当这个罗德告诉家人说这个上帝要毁灭这个索多玛、蛾摩拉的时候呢，女儿跟女婿们也都不相信，所以罗德就必须要拿这个用这个手呢，就是拉着他们才能够这个离开You see, and finally Lot and his two daughters, they were able to escape and arrive to a cave, and they see that this like the Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed in front of them. 那最后这个罗德跟这个2个女儿呢，就到一个山洞，他们就亲眼看见这个索多玛跟蛾摩拉呢，在他们的眼前呢被上帝摧毁But however, the story did not end in this. 但这个故事呢就没有结束哈。Because Lot's two daughters, they made their father drunk, made the father sleep, and then they both became pregnant by the father 哈。然后最后呢，这两个罗德的两个女儿呢，就把父亲给灌醉，让他死了之后呢，这两个人就让父亲睡的时候呢，使自己怀这个父亲的孩子哈。And so all these evil things, all this destruction of the family happened because the family were influenced by Lot's covetousness of choosing to live in Sodom 所有的这些事情发生呢，都是因为罗德他的贪婪他决定要把这个家人带到这个索多玛呢，所带来这个影响所以 brothers and sisters, you can see how these the negative desire will influence us and even destroying us. 所以你可以看到，就是我们当我们有这个负面的这种这个欲望的时候呢，这个贪婪的这样的这个品格的时候呢，我们会影响到我们的家人the things that you can see, we even have like a good story among our own church members 甚至在我们自己的教友当中都有一个很好的这个见证We can see that how the negative desires of covetousness can completely change a person 我们可以看到这个负面的这个欲望，也就是贪婪呢，可以完全的改变一个人Elder Terence Day in our church, he's one of the elder. Many years ago, he used to love God 那么呢，这个郑文峰长老是我们教会一个长老，他很多年以前呢，他是爱上帝的。But about 25 years ago, in the year of 1995, he, Terence and his wife, Sister Elaine, they were in heavy debt for about 20,000 from their credit card 那么当时在这个25年前1995年的时候呢，他们负债负得很重他们当时这个信用卡欠这个2万多块And on that year, Terence met Mr. David Crosby, and Mr. Crosby taught Terence how to be debt free. 那么在那一年的时候呢，郑文峰长老他就遇到这个克罗斯比先生那这个克罗斯比先生呢，就教他说你要怎么样做呢，能够使你就是不会有这个负债So he followed his direct instruction and he did it 那么他就跟随这个科斯比先生所做法呢，就做了And then after 5 years, in the year 2000, Terence was able to become debt free, and so he was more interested in starting his own financial business 所以这个5年之后呢，2000年的时候呢，郑文峰就摆脱了这个债务的负担，因此他开始对于这种金融的业务呢更加的感兴趣So he obtained many licenses, and he was holding like the financial meeting, not only here in locally but also out of the states, other than California 所以他呢去拿到了很多的执照之后呢，他就开始在这个加州还有本地以外的还有其他的州呢，都举行那种金融方面的这个会议And in the year 2002, January, this is the first check you can see from this screen. This is the first check that Terence has received. The first check he got like a $10,000, $10,011 more. 那么呢，他在2002年1月的时候呢，他就得到他的第一张支票，就是1万块1万多块1万块1万多块钱美金back then he was working in the hospital in the lab. His annual salary is about like 45,000. But his financial business has helped him to make about 80,000 a year. 那当时就是他在这个医院的这个化验室里面工作，他一年的薪水是45000。但是他如果做这个金融卖这个金融保险的业务的时候呢，他的财务呢一年可以帮助他8万块钱美金So almost 2 times more than his annual income， 几乎是他那个2倍的这个收入So then, because of that, every single week he take 1 day off and he drive all the way to Arizona and he started all this kind of financial meeting 那么他就每一个星期呢就开车子开到这个亚利桑那州一次，举办这个金融业务的这个会议And then the rest of the day here in the Loma Linda area, he run all this like the meeting in different the hotel room and teaching people about how money works 那么剩下的日子，他就在这个附近呢，罗马尼亚这里附近的其他一些酒店呢，租这个房间，教人家说钱要如何的能够运作这样子 And you know, Terence, he used to be so greedy about the money 这个郑文峰弟兄他曾经在这金钱方面呢非常的这个贪婪He says that he spent so much time in doing this business that he began to neglect his children and friends, and he neglect his spiritual life with God, and God is not his priority 他说当时呢他花了很多的时间从事这些业务然后以至于他开始没有时间给自己的孩子，没有时间给自己的朋友们，他的属灵生活上面完全跟上帝没有这个联系And he's starting to not to read the Bible, not to spend time to pray 然后呢他忽略读圣经，也没有花时间祷告Because he wanted to attend all kinds of financial meeting as much as possible. He read all these book about how to make more money 他呢就花很多的时间参加这种财务会议，然后呢并开始阅读许多有关如何赚钱的这个书And eventually, you know, what happened was one year the housing market begin to collapse. 那有一年呢这个房地产就开始就是崩溃了，这个整个这个房地产市场崩溃了So then he realized what he has been doing was wrong. 最后呢他才意识到说他所做的事情呢是错的First Timothy Bible 6, chapter 6, the Bible says, For the love of money is a root of all kind of the evil. Some people eager for money have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. 提摩太前书6章圣经讲说贪财是万恶之根有人贪恋钱财就被引诱离开了真道，用许多愁苦把自己呢给刺透了And you know, another thing that Brother Terence said is greedy about was greedy for eating 那么呢他另外一个就是贪婪的事情是关于这个吃Because there's some years that he was overeating, he was becoming overweight, obese 那么那个这个郑文峰长老呢他以前呢曾经也是非常贪吃不但是贪财也贪吃那他就吃坏了身体呢，就是变成是非常的肥胖So when he was overweight, then one day he was doing the exercise on this like the Huda Crook, the mountain, the small mountain near Loma Linda. When he was exercising in the morning, he had a heart attack. 所以当时他在这个就是罗马琳达这个旁边那个小山丘上走路的时候呢，有一个早上呢，他就得到这个心脏病的发作And when he had a heart attack, the ambulance came and sent him to the hospital. 然后这个他们就叫救护车来旁边那个是这个蔡医生So the doctor next to him is Dr. Henry Tsai They sent him to the hospital. 那么他们就把他这个送到这个医院去And from that time on, he got the true message from God 从那个时候呢，他就真的是上帝给他亮光呢，得到这个信息And then finally, he was totally transformed. And today, God has used him to share the health message as well as the Bible message in different part of the world. 那么从那个时候开始呢，上帝就一直用他，让他去讲见证，并且到各个不同地方呢，去传讲上帝的健康的信息，还有这个圣经的信息So God can still use us to change our negative desire to become a positive desire. 所以呢，上帝可以改变我们，从这个负面的这样的这个欲望，能改变的这个是正面的这个欲望So in contrast to such a negative desire, we can also develop positive desire to seek the good character from God in us. 那么那个事实上，我们可以在这个在世的时候呢，我们可以就是从这种这个负面的这个欲望呢，转变成希望能够渴望得到这种正面的一个品格的欲望The Bible says in James chapter 1, Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let the perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. 雅各书的第1章里面就讲说，我的弟兄们，你们若在百般的试炼中呢，都要以为大喜乐因为知道你们的信心经过试验，就生忍耐，但忍耐也当成功，使你们成全完备，毫无欠缺But you know, brothers and sisters, as a matter of fact, you know, all the things that we have is actually belong to God 事实上就是弟兄姐妹们，我们在这个世界上所有拥有的一切的事情呢， 其实都是属于是这个上帝的哈。Psalm 24 verse 1, the Bible said, "The earth is the Lord's, and everything in it, the world and all who live in it." 那么这个诗篇24篇第1章第1节哈，圣经讲说，地和其中所充满的，世界和住在其间的呢，都是属于这个耶和华啊。Have you heard of Alexander the Great? That is the king of the Greek, Alexander, who lead his army to conquer all this like the Eurasia 哈。那么你们有没有听过这个亚历山大帝呢？就是这个希腊王亚历山大帝哈。当时呢，他就是带着他的军队呢去征服这个欧亚哈。But he died when he was like about the age of 30, very young 哈。但是他是这个年轻的时候呢，30岁的时候呢，他就去世了。The story tells that when he died, he told his people to, curb 4 holes from his coffin. Okay, so the hole from the coffin is like the hand and the leg can be extended to outside. 当他死的时候，他叫他的手下呢，把那个棺材啊，就是他的手跟脚啊，开洞呢，给他伸出去哈。The reason why he did it was to give the message to people by telling people when we die, we bring nothing to heaven. 他的信息就是要告诉我们说，当我们人死的时候呢，其实我们什么事情都带不走啊，没有办法能够带到天上啊。But we as a Christian, we know that God has given us this character, and this character can actually help us to bring that character to heaven. 那事实上就是在这个圣经里面呢，上帝告诉我们说，我们有这个品格，我们的品格呢，上帝可以让我们把这个美好的品格呢带到这个天上。So, in contrast with such a negative desire, we can also develop positive desire to seek the good character, to seek the good character in us. 所以事实上呢，这种负面的跟这个负面的欲望所相反的，我们可以发展正面的欲望。使我们可以发展这个内在的好的这个品格哈。Have you heard about the world famous chef Andre 江哈？你们有没有听过这个世界有名的这个厨师哈？就是江振成哈。He's a Taiwanese 他是一个台湾人哈。And when he was at the age of 20 in Taiwan, he became one of the famous French restaurant chef in Taiwan 当他是在这个20岁的时候呢，他就成为这个在台湾一个有名的法国餐厅的一个厨师之一哈。But after he became, soon after he became that chef in that famous restaurant in Taiwan, one day there's a world famous chef from France came to do some demonstration presentation about the French cooking in Taiwan 哈。那么当这个江振成在年轻的时候呢，成为这个法国料理的厨师的时候呢，有一天这个从法国来了一个世界级的这个大师这个法国的这个大师这个级的这个厨师呢，来到台湾做这个表演哈。那么当他when this famous the world famous chef from France come to do the demonstration in Taiwan, when they were working together, this famous chef he spied his eye on Andres, his talent and his potential 哈。那当这个法国的大厨师来到这个台湾的时候呢，他的眼睛就看上了这个江振成哈。So then this famous chef invited Andre, see if he would like to come to France to work for him 哈。那么呢，这个有名的这个大厨呢，就邀请这个江振成说，你愿不愿意来法国哈，跟他工作 ？But when he go to France to start, he's not going to start from the chef. He has to start from the little boy like a scratch 那么当他如果说去法国的时候呢，他不会是从厨师开始，他必须要从这个小弟开始做起一切是要从这个零开始So Andrew says, "Yes, I would love to go." 那么江振成就说是的，他愿意去。But then many people told him, "You are crazy." 很多人都告诉他说你疯了 ，because they know that that restaurant in France it's really famous for competition, and not many chefs can survive all the way to the end 那么他们知道说那一家法国的餐厅呢是非常的这个严格有名的就说很多的这个厨师在那边去工作呢，到了最后呢能够撑下去的人都不多But then Andrew went， 但是这个 Andrew 呢，他就真的是去了哈。And you know, when he went from Taiwan to France, he only brought 15,000 Taiwan dollars, which equals to be 5,000 US dollars 哈。当他这个去那个法国的时候，20岁去法国的时候呢，他只有带这个15万台币，事实上是只有5000块钱美金去那边哈。And then when he arrived there, he was sleeping in the storage 哈。He doesn't have money to pay for any room rent, so he would sleep in the storage. 那么当他去法国的时候呢，他没有这个钱付任何房租，所以他必须要睡在这个储藏室里面哈。And every single day, in the kitchen, the team of a group of them, they just have to learn how to peel the potato skin and do many other cooking things for the potato 哈。那么刚刚开始他们去那边2年呢，都是在削那个马铃薯的皮，然后呢必须要学会这个马铃薯的这个烹饪哈。But he said that 2 years has really helped him to set up the foundation because he observed and learned that many people doing the things as a part of the team. 他说，在那个2年当中，虽然很苦呢，但他们从这个削马铃薯的皮，然后做马铃薯各式各样不同的料理的时候呢，他就学到说，要在一个团队里面呢是怎么个工作。他认为那2年呢是非常非常这个值得的哈。And you know, a few years later, Andre, he won the cooking competition within his own restaurant. 在这个他在那个法国待了几年之后呢，在他们自己的这个厨师这个餐厅里面呢，他的这个他的老板，也就是他的这个师傅呢，这个老师呢，举办这个比赛啊，那么呢，他就得到这个第1名啊。So Andre Zhang's his own master, this famous French chef.He organized this competition within his own restaurant among his own chefs, 35 chefs. Andre won the number 1 competition. 这个江正成呢，居然在那个35个人的这个比赛里头呢，成为这个第1名哈。He himself was surprised that as a Taiwanese, he could do better than any French chef. 他很惊讶说，成为一个台湾人。他居然能够比这个法国的这个厨师呢做得更好哈。And later on, he moved to Singapore and he started his Singapore in restaurant 哈。他后来他搬到这个新加坡哈，他在新加坡呢也开了自己的餐厅哈。I believe that many of you are watching this live stream from Singapore. You can go to find his restaurant. It's called Restaurant Andre 哈。我相信，就今天有在看这个现场直播的很多人呢，里面有些是这个新加坡来的，你们可以去找他的这个餐厅，也就是叫做 Restaurant Andre 哈。And later on, not only Singapore, he came back to Taiwan. He opened this restaurant for more than 10 of them in the whole world. 那他后来呢，就是不单单是在新加坡，他也回来台湾开餐厅呢。他现在在全世界呢，差不多拥有超过10家他自己的这个餐厅哈。Many people is asking him.Why don't you open more than 100 restaurants in the whole world to make it like a chain store 哈？很多人都问他说，你为什么不在整个世界呢开你的100多家餐厅哈 ？But he says, well, money is never my purpose 啊。但是他说这个金钱呢不是他的目的啊。He wants to cook because he wants people to enjoy the cooking and enjoy the cooking as a lifestyle 哈。他说他喜欢烹饪，他希望人们能够享受这个烹饪。And he wants people to enjoy the cooking by using the creativity to think how people can live in a good, peaceful life. 他说他希望全世界的人呢，他们会学会烹饪之后呢，会把这个烹饪呢当作是生活当中的一部分，使他们能够有一个平安的生活。I'd like to share with you this short message from the video, how he encouraged young people to do their best. 那么在这边我有一个这个影片要给各位介绍，就说这个江正成呢。他如何的鼓励年轻人，使年轻人能够把事情做得更好。
Take time, take risk, take it seriously. 花时间，然后冒险，然后真的把 take it seriously，把每一件事当成一回事。 然后我们需要每一个资讯都是最快速的，但是过了就过了，就忘了，所以我们变成越来越没有耐性，越来越没有办法在一件事情上面花很多的时间。所以对我来说，花时间是一个现在年轻人的致命伤，而不是当我在喝咖啡的时候，我要做这个，我要做这个，我要做这个，而是花时间把一件事情做好。我发现现在的年轻人不太会待在一个地方待很久，或者觉得说哦，我一辈子只能做一件事情，或者说我还没有想好我要做什么。可能现在我想在一个最有名、最好的餐厅工作，但是可能下一个月我想说自己开一个小的咖啡店，然后卖bagel跟果酱就好了。所以我觉得 take it seriously 是把这件事情当成是很慎重的。在 Restaurant Lounge 我收到从世界各地各个国家的履历表，当我看不到这些人的表现的时候，我第一个看到的是 consistency， 就是他在这个地方做多久。他可以在麦当劳工作，他可以在米其林餐厅工作，对我来说都没有问题。如果他可以在一个地方生存下来5年、7年、10年，他一定有一样东西比别人强，不然公司不会把这个人留在这个公司这么久。我觉得这个是我们在挑选的时候一个很重要的指标。现在越来越少这样子的年轻人，很多的履历都比我还要厚。到法国之前，我从来没有问过自己这个问题，就是我不会法文怎么办？我还记得我身上只有带15万，我要在那边活下来，我要住哪里？我要什么？我从来没有想过。比如说，很多人都会在我耳边讲讲你听不懂，然后我就会拼音拼下来，然后晚上再问我的室友说这句话是什么意思？他说哦，这句话是你到冰箱拿什么洋葱，OK 好，然后就把它拼起来这样。然后这句话是说不要动，这一句话就是什么小心还是什么的，就是这样一个字学的。我一直很喜欢这种过程，就是当你给自己一个 target， 然后你必须要去找不同的资源，学习不同的技能，然后来完成这件事情。
You know, brothers and sisters, what I amazed about the way how he learned French was that he does not know any words, but then in the kitchen, when he's working with all these French men, whatever the words they say to him, he just write down certain pronunciation, and then when he go back to, his room in the evening, then he asks his roommate. 那么呢，这个最令我惊讶的就是说是他呢，就是连一句法文都不懂的时候呢，他在那边。人家这个法国的那些厨师跟他讲什么东西呢？他就把那些发音呢写下来之后呢，回去再问他的室友呢要怎么个讲啊。So you can see that this is the way how he has dedicated himself to develop that because this is the character that he needed for him to be successful. 那么呢，这个是告诉我们说，就是他呢为了要使这个事情能够做得更好、更成功呢，他就必须要培养出这样一种耐心、这样的一种这个品格哈。This is not an easy thing to do. 这个不是这个很简单可以做的事情。Today we talk about the 10th commandment of this covetousness. This covetousness actually meaning people just like to take something it doesn't belong to them. Even including the shortcut of wanting to be successful. 那么我们今天讲到这个第10条诫命呢，就是说是人们呢，就是在贪图贪功、贪财、贪婪呢。属于自己不属于自己的这个东西呢，想要用这种很走捷径的方法要得到。But brothers and sisters, the real character in God will not be able to obtain if we are trying to go by the shortcut way. 那么呢，就是说，如果说我们如果想要用这个走捷径、快速的方法来完成什么事情的时候呢，圣经里面告诉我们说，这种主耶稣基督要给我们这种品格呢，是没办法能够靠着这个走捷径的方法能够得到的。So remember, Andrea Zhang, he says, take time, take risk, take it seriously. 那么我们看到说，好像这个江正成呢，他告诉年轻人说，你必须要花时间，敢于冒险啊，必须要认真的去对待啊。You know, but this kind of young man is getting less. But I'm glad that I just met this young man. You know, I found that we have such a young man in our area recently. 但我们发觉就说是，虽然这样子这个年轻人愿意花时间、敢冒险、认真对待的人是越来越少，但我就发觉就是原来在我们这里Loma Linda也有这样的一个年轻人哈。You know, Pastor Jonathan Young, he has been doing the intern pastor with us for almost like 1 month and over. I'm sorry, 1 year and 1 month 啊。那么在我们的这个罗马尼亚华人教会呢，我们有一个在我们当中实习的一个牧师哈，这个弟兄呢就是杨德谦啊 ，Pastor Jonathan Young 啊 ，he's grandson of Dr. Samuel Young 啊，他是这个我们这个杨建生啊博士的这个孙子哈。Wednesday we had a prayer meeting. 那么星期三的时候呢，我们有一个祷告会啊。And before the prayer meeting, he texted me by saying, "Oh, Pastor, I will be late, but I will come to join the prayer meeting." 那么他在这个祷告会时间开始之前，他送一个简讯给我说，他说他会来参加，但是他会稍微迟到。I said, "Sure, no problem." And in the middle of the prayer meeting, almost toward the end, he came back. He joined the prayer meeting, and I saw that on the Zoom prayer meeting that you know he was there. So before the end, I asked him to pray. 那么当他回来的时候呢，我们也快结束。我看到就是他在我们这个电脑视频的这个视讯的这个祷告会当中出现呢，所以要结束之前我就叫他祷告哈。And after the prayer meeting, he sent me text message. He apologized. He says that he was visiting one of the Bible study, the contact, one of the seeker, and the conversation was prolonged. 那么他告诉我说，他那个在那个祷告会当中呢，其实他是去拜访一个这个慕道友，就是要查经的人哈。那他跟他之间的这个对话呢比较长的哈， so he came back late 哈。But respectfully, end of the when the prayer meeting ended, he texted me and sent me like the word of apology. I said no need to apologize 哈。然后呢，他这个在祷告会结束了以后呢，送一个信息给我呢，跟我道歉。我说是其实呢，你不需要道歉哈。But the way how I see the way he does, you know, he take time to communicate with this like the Bible study contact, and he take his risk for doing that as well as coming back to join the join the prayer meeting, and he take everything seriously 哈。然后我看到他就说是他在这个要跟慕道友联系呢，所以他要花时间，而且他要把这个跟他的花时间，还有就是这个祷告会两个都参加，所以他敢于这个冒险，同时愿意把它做好，让他把整个这个事情呢当作是非常严肃的事情对待哈。So you know, I admire this young man. I found that you know I can learn a lot of the things from this young man 啊。我发觉就是说这个年轻人呢很值得我敬佩，而且我可以从这个年轻人的身上呢可以学到很多。Nearly 2,000 years ago, when Jesus Christ was crucified and died for us on the cross, he wanted to develop his positive characters in us. 2000多年前，当耶稣基督被钉在十字架上为我们死的时候呢，他也盼望在我们的里面发展出这个上帝的这个正面的品格哈。He wanted to transform our negative character of covetousness into the positive character of Jesus Christ. 他愿意在我们的这个里面呢，想要把我们这个贪婪的这种负面的品格转变为耶稣基督的这样的一个正面的这个品格哈。So may the Lord God bless each one of us. We can continue to develop such a character in Jesus. 愿主祝福我们，愿上帝祝福我们，使我们能够继续在耶稣当中呢发展出这样的一个品格哈。So that we can shine for these last days for the sake of Jesus Christ. 那么这样子呢，我们就能够在这个末世的时候呢，我们在末世的日子里面不断的发光啊。Let us pray， 让我们一起来祷告。Father God, we thank you so much for the lesson we have learned today, and continue to help us to develop the character in Jesus. 父上帝，我们感谢主，你透过今天的信息教导我们很重要的功课。愿主帮助我们，能够使我们继续在主耶稣基督里面能够发展出主耶稣基督的品格。In the name of Jesus Christ, we pray. 奉耶稣基督的圣名我们祈求，阿门。Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week. But please remember, 3 weeks from now, September the 12th, we want to have this outdoor worship, but the live stream will continue, whether it is live stream from my home or outdoor of the church. Both locations, we will still do the live stream. 那么请记得，就是在3个星期以后呢，9月12号，我们应该会有这个户外的聚会。不论是我在家里这个转播，或者是在这个教会的户外聚会呢，我们都会有这个电脑的现场转播呢，是不会停的哈。Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. 非常感谢弟兄姐妹收看，我们下个星期见。